Our next story is from Pakistan. The arrest of a 31-year-old woman named Pinky has triggered shockwaves across the power elite. From an aspiring model to an alleged drug queen with high-profile clients, she's now come under lens for reportedly naming former Prime Minister Raja Pervez Ashraf as a client. After a purported video clip showing her take the name of Raja Pervez went viral, this matter was escalated in Pakistan's National Assembly. Ashraf, remember, who had briefly served as Pakistan's Prime Minister between June 2012 till March 2013, made it clear that he had no connection with drugs. Earlier this week, though, Pinky told a court that she was being forced to implicate influential persons in this case.
I have led a spotless life. I am a four-time member of this House. I have been the Prime Minister of this country. I have been the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Now, that's not all. Pinky leveled a big charge outside the courtroom as well, alleging that authorities were forcing her to take the name of a person living in Bani Gala. Now, this gave rise to speculation that she was perhaps referring to former Prime Minister Imran Khan, as he's the most famous resident of Bani Gala. Amid this, Pakistan's Information Minister Ataullah Tarar expressed solidarity with Ashraf, stressing that the accusation was so frivolous in nature that no one would pay heed to it. However, Speaker Ayaz Sadiq cautioned that the menace of drugs was making the whole nation hollow and urged lawmakers to pass an effective legislation to curb the problem. Now, let's also quickly tell you Pinky's background. Born in Karachi in 1995, she reportedly left her studies in the 8th grade and moved to Lahore to pursue a modeling career. As per reports, she got introduced to the world of crime after her marriage to a lawyer. After separating from him, she built her own network that used WhatsApp and social media channels to supply narcotics, especially cocaine, to clients in upscale areas across multiple cities, including Lahore and Karachi. As per reports, investigators have claimed that she allegedly sold drugs worth millions of Pakistani rupees daily. She was arrested on the 12th of May. She's under police custody at the moment in connection with multiple cases against her. She's also facing charges of murder after police alleged that the drugs sold by her led to the death of a man. However, the prolonged inaction against her has raised questions about her own connections with powerful quarters of Pakistan. For instance, multiple police personnel were suspended after she was accorded VIP treatment during her first court appearance. As per the police probe, she was not just escorted by the police with respect, but she was also provided with mobile phones. However, remember, this for Pakistan has been a nationwide crisis. As per the United Nations data, close to 7.6 million Pakistanis are believed to be drug addicts. Pakistan is considered to be a part of the Golden Crescent along with Afghanistan and Iran, as these nations are major opium producers. It's also known as the Silk Route of drugs, as they are trafficked to multiple parts of the world. However, after Taliban's strict ban on poppy cultivation in 2022, Pakistan is reportedly overtaking Afghanistan as the leading hub of global opium production, with poppy fields on the rise in Balochistan region. In the last few months itself, authorities in Balochistan have reportedly confiscated narcotics worth 25 billion Pakistani rupees, and therefore it is amply clear that Islamabad has a major problem on its hands to solve. Well, the global energy crisis continues to send shockwaves through the world economy, with South America fast emerging as a continent in protest, from soaring fuel prices to rising food costs, from power shortages to growing economic anger. The continent has been witnessing a wave of anger on its streets, which is now testing governments across multiple countries. The protest began as frustration over the cost of living, and now it has spiraled into a much broader political and economic crisis. Millions are now questioning their governments over inflation, austerity, unemployment, public spending cuts, and broken economic promises, with the global energy turmoil only adding fuel to this fire. Bolivia is the country which is the current epicenter of the street rage. Hundreds of protesters marched toward La Paz as the country continues to grapple with a deepening economic crisis. What started as strikes has now turned into a wider national movement involving labor unions, miners, transport workers, and rural groups. Farmers and activists have blocked key roads, demanding wage hikes, economic stability, an end to privatization, and even the resignation of the president. The protests have paralyzed transport routes and exposed the growing public anger over the government's austerity policies.
We are calling for the lifting of the blockades at once, please. That is what we're calling for as mothers. We don't know what food to give our children. The pot is empty. We have nothing. We are dying of hunger here in La Paz. We have been kidnapped.
But Bolivia is far from alone. In Cuba, the energy crisis has taken a more direct form. Citizens in Havana have taken to the streets as the island struggles with worsening power outages after the government admitted that oil reserves had run dry. For many Cubans, daily life has become increasingly difficult, with blackouts, shortages, and economic hardship driving public frustration. In Argentina, meanwhile, anger is growing over sharp public spending cuts. Tens of thousands of health workers marched through Buenos Aires. They accused President Javier Milei's government of cutting public health funding under its aggressive austerity drive. The protests are part of a broader pushback against economic reforms aimed at cutting the fiscal deficit. These reforms that many Argentines say are coming at the cost of basic public services.
Demand has increased enormously because there are people who have lost their social coverage, because they have lost their job, or because they have entered an informal work situation, and these people turn to public health. And many people who still have the possibility or the luck of having social coverage do not have money to pay 10,000, 8,000, 5,000 pesos in co-payments, and these people turn to public health.
Meanwhile, further north in Ecuador, union members, students, teachers and indigenous groups have all filled the streets of Quito. They are opposing the economic policies that they say are hurting workers and weakening social protections. In Venezuela, the crisis has taken a more political edge. University students and activists have staged protests against political imprisonments, with clashes erupting between demonstrators and security forces in the capital. And in Chile, thousands of students have marched through Santiago against education cuts and the rising living costs. The demonstrations turned tense as the police used water cannons and tear gas to disperse crowds near the presidential palace. As the global energy crisis continues to disrupt economies, push up prices and strain governments, the streets of South America are rapidly becoming the front line of a much larger battle over economic survival, governance and public trust. Moving on, a giant rock from deep space appears almost without warning. Astronomers spot it barely days before it races towards the Earth. And now, space agencies are scrambling to track an asteroid flying closer than the moon itself. Our next story traces the frantic countdown and the science behind it. Take a look.
It begins as a faint flicker in darkness, a tiny moving dot buried inside millions of stars. Then computers flag it. Telescopes swing towards it. Scientists start calculating fast, because this object is not drifting quietly through deep space. It is hurtling straight through Earth's neighborhood. NASA and astronomers across the world are now tracking asteroid 2026 JH2, a newly discovered space rock that is making an extremely close pass by Earth on Monday. The asteroid was detected only around a week before its flyby, triggering urgent observations from multiple observatories. The asteroid is estimated to be between 50 and 115 feet wide, roughly the size of a school bus or even a basketball court. It will pass around 90,000 kilometers from Earth, that is far closer than the moon. Scientists insist there is no impact threat, but the late discovery is once again exposing a frightening reality. Space remains full of blind spots. This is not the first time Earth gets surprised. In 2013, the Chelyabinsk meteor exploded over Russia without warning. The blast shattered windows across the city and injured more than 1,500 people. The object was detected too late because it approached from the sun's direction. Asteroid 2019 OK slipped past Earth at just 72,000 kilometers. Astronomers spotted it only one day before its close approach. That is why planetary defense is now becoming a global priority. NASA's DART mission already proved that humans can alter an asteroid's path by smashing a spacecraft into it and thereby saving us. Space agencies are now building faster detection systems, stronger tracking networks and emergency response plans, because one day humanity may not get lucky. Bureau Report, WION World is One.